This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Factorial design has two or more independent variables, which are called factors. Simplest factorial design is a two-factor experiment.
Factorial designs testing two or more factors are more efficient than our separate experiments testing the same set of independent variables.
By studying more than one factor at a time, we can measure main effects, the action of each independent variable in the experiment. Uy! Yeah! Do you know we can also measure interactions? A changing effect of one independent variable across the levels of another independent variable?
Psychological variables are often complex and only a fractional design can decide only measure interactions.
A factorial designs are described with a shorthand notation. If we are told that an experiment has a 3 by 2 by 4 design, we know it has 3 factors because 3 numbers are given. Hey!
The numerical value of each number tells us how many levels each factor has. The first factor has 3, the second has 2, and the third has 4.
We also know there are 24 treatment conditions, the product of 3 by 2 by 4. Higher order interactions can be produced in experiments with more than 2 factors.
There are practical limitations on using factorial designs. They often require many subjects.
They can be time-consuming, and they require more complicated statistical procedures than the other designs we have discussed.
However, factorial designs also provide valuable information that other types of experiments cannot.
Let us take a closer look at an experimental example of a 2 by 2 factorial experiment. This experiment produced one significant main effect along with a significant interaction. Pleiner and Chaikin, 1990, were interested in the relationship between gender and eating behavior. It is well known that, in our culture at least, Pleiner and Chaikin believed that thinness and light eating have come to be viewed as appropriate sex role behaviors for women, in making them appear more feminine than their heavy-eating counterparts. If this is the case, women should be especially prone to eat lightly in situations where they want to appear most feminine, when they are with an attractive person of the opposite sex. The authors conducted an experiment that tested the following hypothesis: women will eat less in the presence of an opposite sex partner than in the presence of another of the same sex, but men's eating behavior will not be influenced by their partner's gender. Pleiner and Chaikin predicted 2 variables, the subject sex and partner sex, would interact in their effects on eating behavior. What must be manipulated to test the hypothesis? First, the behavior of women must be compared with that of men. The first independent variable is the sex of the subject. Notice that this factor is a subject variable. The manipulation is simply the selection process. Subjects are automatically assigned to an experimental group based on their gender. Second, the sex of the subject's partner must be manipulated. The second independent variable is the gender of a second person with whom the subjects are paired. Individual subjects in the experiment were led to believe that they and a partner, who is actually a Confederate who had been trained to play this role, were taking part in a study on the effects of hunger on task performance. They had been asked not to eat anything the day of the experiment so that they would be hungry when they arrived. Each subject was told that he or she and the partner had been assigned to the full condition of the experiment and would be asked to eat as much as it took for them to feel comfortably full while working on the experimental task. Crackers with various toppings were provided. Early in the session, the subject and partner were interviewed together by the experimenter. This interview was designed to give subjects the impression that their partner was single and socially attractive. The dependent variable in this experiment was eating behavior. The researchers measured eating by counting how many crackers each subject ate. To make sure the partner's eating did not confound the experiment, the partner always ate 15 crackers, about 315 calories. The researchers' hypothesis would be supported if a significant interaction between the two factors was obtained. If women ate fewer crackers in the presence of an opposite-sex partner than with a same-sex partner, but men's eating did not differ. Remember that in a factorial experiment we always look at the effect of each independent variable separately as well as looking for an interaction. These main effects explore each factor by itself, ignoring the other. Did the first factor, subject sex, produce any effects on eating? Yes. Statistical tests indicated that the experiment produced a significant main effect for this factor. If we just consider how many crackers men and women tended to eat in the experiment, we find that men ate more crackers on the average than women. This is not too surprising, we expect men to eat more than women do. Did the second factor, same or opposite sex partner, have any effect by itself on eating? No, the statistical tests confirmed that, in general, it did not make any difference whether the partner was the same or the opposite sex. There were a few more men than women in the experiment, which brought the average for the entire group up slightly. Finally, we look at the interaction. Recall that the interaction describes the effects of ohm factor, male versus female subjects, at different levels of the other, same-sex versus opposite-sex partners. The interaction asks whether men's or women's eating habits change with different kinds of partners. Was Pilner and Chaikin's hypothesis supported? Yes. Statistical tests indicated that there was a significant interaction between subject sex and type of partner. Men ate about the same amount whether their partner was the same or the opposite sex. But, as expected, women varied their eating depending on the gender of their partner. If their partner was the same sex, they ate more than if their partner was the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.